What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with another lucky dip. And this is another one from Phil. Big shout out to you. And it's by David Gray, a name I feel like I've seen or heard somewhere, but I can't really place it, and I'm guessing I haven't heard any music by him. But the track is Dead in the Water, excuse me, which I think is fundamentally a maritime term, which is further to say if you are on a vessel that has neither wind power nor motor operation, you are stranded, you are stuck, you are unable to move, there's a vulnerability to it, there's an inability to avoid any incoming catastrophe because you have no momentum or inertia to move you clear of whatever danger is coming. So I suppose it could literally be a boat that is dead in the water and thus incapable of moving in any direction, but I expect this to be more figurative or metaphorical. I'll see what I can catch on the first listen. This is David Gray. The track is Dead in the Water, and it's a lucky dip provided by a great friend of the channel, Phil.
People stand in line. People stand in line. People stand in line. A premonition now. The killer's angel eye. And Armageddon sky. Tell it like it is. It's like the old man said. Come from miles around. They come from miles around. In avarice and love, to suck along the blood, some forgotten God, sell it like it is. It's like the old man said, we're dead in the water now. We're dead in the water now. Dead in the water. A simple act of faith. A simple act of faith. A simple act of faith. A celebration now. The color and the cream. The cancer and the sea. The crackles on the mind. Call it what you like. We're dead in the water now. We're dead in the water now. We're dead in the water.
Wow. So a shorter one. I'm going to say that was not much more than 3 minutes. Yeah, just barely over 3 minutes. So, yeah, there's definitely a dramatic scope to the tune. It reminded me a bit of a Keane track. Not that his voice was identical or even necessarily overly similar to Chaplin's, but something about the sonics. It had, these electric elements. I think there was a keyboard line in there, as well as there's like an electronic effect where it felt like it was whirling around, or there was a turn, more open and closed cycle to parts of the sonics, especially like the transitional moments. But it also had like a like a synth rock type of sound, so there was, some guitar work in there. It felt, again, like sonically it wouldn't be out of place on a Keane album. Now, not that I know that group intensely well, but I've gone through one and maybe like 2/3 of an album from them, and I could hear that being one of their tunes. I did enjoy the intensifications on some of the measure changes. There'd be a moment where, it's sort of going with a certain rhythm and intensity, and then it would really kick up to the next level as the next measure came in. I did enjoy his voice. I thought he had a good voice, and the richness of the track was also expressed in his vocal delivery. I don't know, like, there was it like a simple act of faith, and there was some, call it what you want. It sounds maybe less negative or dangerous than the title had me thinking in advance, but it also sounds like there is some uncertainty to what will happen. The idea of, again, being dead in the water is you can't move, but that's all predicated on some danger coming your way or trying to get to some destination. So there's still an uncertainty about what's going to happen. So I feel like if the theme of the title as I thought of it in advance was reflected in the song, it's that there's some unknown that is still being played out or will be played out in the future. Because, if you know exactly what's going to happen, an act does not require faith. It's just part of a, teleological or logical process. So, yeah, I'm curious how the lyrics flesh out narratively or even just in terms of a scene, but I don't think it was more literal. I think this was an expression for metaphorical or figurative purposes. Either way, a cool little tune, maybe the kind of track that I wouldn't be surprised to hear in a like TV intro or maybe even end credits type of context. I don't know if it being that short is what made me think of it, but the way it sort of faded out dramatically at the end and had a bit of that electronic reverberation. It's the kind of thing where, like, at the end of a credit sequence for an intro credit, it'd be like, created by such and such, right, as it's fading out, and then it would lead into the first scene. So maybe that's just me watching a lot of shows and thinking of how tracks could be used, though fair to say, I do think there have been multiple tunes within the Lucky Dip folder Phil has provided that he originally discovered through some form of media, be it a TV show or a video game, preview or something like that, or at least some of the artists that I've gone through in this Lucky Dip folder have made music in those contexts. So this feels like it could be another one in that vein. But yes, a really cool tune. Anything that reminds me of Keane has to be pretty good. At least that's been my experience with Keane so far, and fair to say for those who are here for that deep dive as well, they're not too far from coming back once again. So we'll talk about that when we come to it. Let me know what you think of this, and I will see you then. Peace.